What was the weirdest thing the weird kid did at school? In high school, this kid would regularly pick his nose and eat it in class. He was also caught masturbating to girls in the school library and on a school bus. He got suspended for a week and had to register as a sex offender. Edit/update. He was 17, is no longer registered as a sex offender, and was able to go to college. Well, there was Frog Boy. All he did was run around the woods catching lizards, frogs, raising tadpoles in a bucket, that kinda stuff. He had AD before AD was a thing, so he was labeled active, and our teacher would sometimes just let him run out of the classroom to do a couple laps. He was just crazy energetic, but all smiles. He superglued the woodshop tools to the wall, and he covered the school kitchen with flour, that kind of stuff. He went on to be a professional motocross rider. The weird kid at my high school tied a string around his pencil case and pulled out around the halls pretending it was a dog. He still lives in my hometown. I think unemployed. Oh, also weird girl in middle school acted like a cat. She would meow and hiss at people, lick the water fountain and rub her body on the teacher's legs. In 8th grade. I have no idea where she ended up. For elementary school, I was that weird kid. I didn't talk until I was 5, and when I started, I had maybe a 20-word vocabulary and only spoke when spoken to for about 3 to 4 years. But, at age 5, when I just started to talking, the local 10-year-old genius who was also our neighbor, was actually a genius, graduated at 12 or something close, walked up to me and said, "The answer to every question can be found through observing," and then walked off. That's it. That is all he said. I, on the other hand, was, and still am, an absolute idiot. What I interpreted from what he said was, the answer to every question *is* observing. Now, I knew this kid had the smarts I didn't have, so I took what he said very seriously and unfortunately very literally. My parents were freaking out. My school had to call my parents multiple times and eventually we had a big meeting that ended up landing me in therapy because for nearly a solid year, the only thing I ever said to anyone was observing. 2x2 equals? *observing*. What do you want 40? *observing*. What is on the TV? *observing*. Why the hell are you such a stupid fucking kid? *observing*. At my middle school, someone decided to get a little attention with a good old-fashioned bomb threat. Except they thought that a bomb threat meant literally writing bomb threat somewhere. Worse yet, they misspelled the fuck out of it and wrote boom threat. So we had to go on a brief, very awkward lockdown while the police checked the perimeter for booms. Every lunch he would put a baguette in his sleeve and secretly eat it. He heard that you'd automatically get suspended if you peed your pants at school. He wanted to find out if it was true. Peed his pants, got suspended. Had a kid nicknamed Cheeseburger in the grade ahead of me in high school. He got his nickname because when it was time for his class to go to lunch, he snuck into the roof and crawled his way into the cafeteria, dropped down and proceeded to steal all the cheeseburger put out for lunch. Unfortunately, they caught him in the act and sent him to the principal's office. A year later he was caught stealing a teacher's computer, and in the process of being arrested he bit the officer's hand, getting him sent to juvie never to be heard of again. Least weird thing was she would blow her nose then eat it. Bigger weird things were running headfirst into a wall shouting that she's stupid if she didn't get the scores she wanted. Another time running down the school field with teachers chasing while shouting I'm a ghost. Also announced she was pregnant because her boyfriend, who I don't know if was real, ejaculated, her words, on her knee. We always thought she had something going on and would tell the teachers something needed doing, but apparently they'd talk to the parents who refused tests. It was actually kind of sad and people generally just felt a bit sorry for her. We had a guy who wore a dragon tail, believing he was a dragon, and same story for a different guy, but his thing was wearing a cat bell. There were lots of rumors about the cat bell guy. He would say very obscure element on the periodic table and start singing about it as if it were his friend. We were like 7/8. A guy I knew in high school had a mouse living in his car. Not a pet mouse or anything, just a wild mouse. He would intentionally leave food in the back seat for it. I almost didn't believe it until I saw the thing run under the seat when he opened the door. He also wore this full cow suit to school one time, which freaked an autistic kid who had a specific fear of cows. There was a lot of debate if he wore it to freak the kid out or if he wore it just to be weird. He's a youth pastor now. Showing us a video he uploaded to YouTube of him cutting his poop in half with a hanger as it was laying in the toilet bowl. Edit. Everyone asking for the video link. I'm sorry. I don't have the link, and I'm too afraid to even attempt to find it on YouTube. Thinking about searching turd cutting in toilet bowl on it seems dangerous. His locker only ever had 3 things in it. His American flag cape, one of those foldable razor scooters, and a box turtle. He got mad that he didn't yet understand how to play a game at lunchtime, so he started hitting and punching the nearest person to him, who happened to be me. When I shoved him away and asked him what the hell was he doing, he whipped his dick out, charged at me, and when I shoved him away from me again he started crying and ran away with his member still sticking out. Jumping on the giant Christmas tree from the 2nd floor balcony. That was the last time they put a Christmas tree on our school. Had the weird kid in high school ask the teacher to use the bathroom. She said no, and this dude legit stabbed his hand with a pencil. Went all the way through, then asked if he could now. Shit was wild. Edited. Also, to add to this was Pearl High School in Mississippi. This was the school Luke Woodham shot and killed his girlfriend and her friend at the school. This kid stabbed himself with the pencil about 2 months after that happened. This was late 1997. In 1st grade there was this kid who stood by the sink in the back of the classroom eating bits of those brown paper towels. The teacher was constantly telling him to stop eating them and go back to his seat. She wrote a list of all the girls and boys she wanted to kiss and murder, and then casually passed it out on the playground. A wild kid activated a fire hose and started blasting everyone that came his way. Students, teachers, didn't matter. Weird kid in elementary was a self-proclaimed alien. Once, while waiting for the bus, she told me, "You're in my planet, we eat people like you, yeah," and proceeded to bite me. We later became friends in high school and she used to give me massages during lunch break in the quad. Just realized now she was likely tenderizing me. Lol. Had this weird kid in my class who was otherwise okay, but just would do really unexplainable stuff. He once opened his lunchbox in class and threw the contents right onto the overhead ceiling fan. It was something liquidy and greenish. Hit the spinning fan, splashed down all over us, the walls, the board. The poor teacher got the worst rain down on his face. As a punishment, the entire class was made to clean the classroom. Surprisingly, we were not mad at him. We all had a real good laugh at it. Sharpened a pencil super sharp, muzzle loaded it into the recorder, covered all the holes and blowgunned it at another kid. The pencil went between his eyeball and socket, so fortunately he kept his sight. Similarly, after I switched schools, this happened before I arrived, so I didn't yet actually see it. A girl used blue tack to stick a short and very sharp pencil on a kid's seat. He sat on it, and it punctured the skin right next to his asshole, then perforated his rectum. Needed emergency surgery. I don't yet know if they were the Yerwood kid or Peresi, but just someone I happened to encounter once in undergrad. One of our dining halls had a station that you could make yourself waffles at, so it had a container with batter in it for you to use with these little plastic cups for you to fill up and pour into the waffle iron. This was on the same counter, right next to where the Bagel station was, for reference. So one morning in between classes, prepping a Bagel for myself for breakfast, and there was 2 girls at the waffle station at the same time. I happened to overhear part of their conversation where one of the girls said something to the effect of your people think weird, but I just don't get why, you're to her friend. Now this would normally be a totally valid thing to say. However, the statement was undercut immediately by her filling up the aforementioned cup with batter and then *proceding to immediately drink the entire cup of batter like it was some sort of waffle flavored milkshake, and then continued her conversation like she didn't just do the weirdest fucking thing you've ever seen. It was like 5 years later, and Doom's still in disbelief. He didn't say much, but if asked, he would go to the front of the class and perform *TIP-TOE through the tulips with all of the emotion and volume of Tiny Tim, holding nothing back. In elementary school I was the weird kid. I stacked all the chairs in my classroom like a pyramid. I got away with this because my school opened up early to let kids in. We were supposed to be in the cafeteria. I know my class was left unlocked. Not the first time I snuck out of the cafeteria to look around unsupervised and get away from other people. It took me about 45 minutes, only like 15 kids in that class so not a lot of chairs. I thought it was the funniest thing ever at the time, everyone else did not. I still get a slight chuckle out of it, still kind of weird. I actually stacked lots of different things, and often in places, or into shapes they probably shouldn't be. When the teacher told him to sit down he screamed "fuck you cow." Fast forward 2 years he tells everyone he's a vampire and stabs my friend with a pen to try to make him bleed. He was weird like